time around that will just take over the map like that. If there is one, it's Veno, and Sigma already has that. So Fnatic, they get Drow and Jakiro. So we get a Drow. I was expecting that, actually, that Fnatic will get this because of the limited carry pool here. But as always is the case with Drow, you need to be on range. If someone gets in close, you lose so much of your damage potential. And on Sigma International, there's already a Bounty Hunter, and I would probably imagine them getting the Juggernaut, actually, because of this. They have good pushing potential with Enigma and Venomancer and the Plague Wards, and they can get the Juggernaut Healing Ward and have a carry who can get in close with Drow. Gonna get Sand King first, and Night Stalker, actually.
But for a little bit of team fight, I was going to say either Sand King or Elder Titan would be picked up by Sigma, just because the team fight is going to be crazy in combination with the Black Hole, and they choose to go to Sand King, as you talked about. And then the Night Stalker, which is the Cinderin hero of choice, obviously. Fnatic has one hero to go. They need a... Well, they have a... If they want to do a tri-lane, they have a tri-lane. They probably just need a mid here. Honestly, I think Razor wouldn't be too bad, because not only can you steal damage from the easy steal damage from Night Stalker mid, although they go OD, which I didn't even realize was still in the pool, which is amazing versus melee. So Hani gonna be playing that OD mid.
Yeah, the problem for Sigma here is that the best hero in mid that they have against OD is probably Veno, if you just play with the Poison Sting and maybe like the Gale, because you won't have mana to use it really. But Veno can do it pretty well, with, especially when he gets level 5 and gets level 3 Plague Wards. But when you look at Sigma's lineup, they're going to struggle a bit, I think, if they put the Veno in the mid position, because then they're going to have a melee support supporting the Night Stalker, which would then be the Sand King, and then Enigma jungle, which would be so incredibly greedy that I can't imagine Fnatic taking advantage from that. So they're not going to do it. It will be Fata on the Night Stalker, so he's probably good. That's a hard lane.
Five seconds remaining.
Well, who's good against OD? I mean, you have Razor, who was in the pool, but of course, Sigma didn't have the opportunity to pick him after last picking the Night Stalker. And then, what, Lone Druid? Is that pretty much it? That's good against OD. I mean, Veno's okay, I guess you could say, if as a core, but again, do you really want to waste Veno as a core hero in a captain's draft when all these heroes are available to use? I don't know. Either way, let's go over the lineup. So for Fnatic, as we talked about, OD is going to be mid, played by Hani. No Tail on his Disruptor era, playing the... We've been seeing Drow in some Captain's Modes game lately, so it hasn't been that successful, but it's still something that seems to be trending for whatever reason. Fly on the Jakiro, and in the side lane, Trixie on Darkseer, who of course used to be like a hero picked every single game, but I think we've all seen enough of that hero, just generally speaking, that we know exactly what he does.
Yeah, the thing about Darkseer is that he did get nerfed a bit on the vacuum by giving that longer cooldown, but I actually think the biggest nerf to this hero was just that teams in general got better at playing against it and exploiting its weaknesses that it has. I still think it's great, especially if you build a lineup around it, and what Fnatic have with it here is of course the Ice Path into Vacuum, which is a really good combination, and they also even have it with Disruptor, who is amazing with Vacuum. So in that sense it can be really good, but at the same time it's going to be very hard for Trixie to get levels here. He's playing against a core Sand King and a Venomancer lane. This is like one of the strongest dual lanes in the whole game. And Veno can probably keep him away alone. Speaking of which, let's just run over the heroes for Sigma. We've got Pass playing on the support Venomancer. It will be Paris playing the core Sand King. Mad will be playing on the Enigma. And we've got Fata playing as the Night Stalker. And finally Miggle will be playing the offlane Bounty Hunter. So as far as that goes, I feel like Miggle will probably get more out of the offlane in the start than Trixie will.
That could possibly be the case. As we see Enigma devouring, I'll just call it Devour for now, the creep in middle. To give Fly taking a lot of damage though. He has the DD, of course, can zone Fata out completely, and he's going to do just that, as he's still stuck on level 1 with the first wave pretty much destroyed. Actually no, he only missed one creep, come to think of it. So, not sure, Hani kind of pushed the lane. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not.
Enigma ate a creep, so that's kind of inevitable.
Only lost one experience, like one creep in experience, which I find surprising, even with just that.
Yeah, perhaps Hani could have done so that one more creep would die from him, but he can't avoid the push. If you devour, like now I'm saying it too, if you use demonic conversion on a melee creep, then you can't avoid that the lane gets pushed, I think. It's impossible. You need some very specific things to happen in the lane equilibrium for that to actually hold, so you can't really blame Hani for it. But I wanted to say, I mean, this is a hard lane for Night Stalker already. And when Fly then even gives Hani the upper hand, I feel like Fata will almost be crying for help already from the start, because if Hani manages to keep the lane here, he just got a head start and now he has the equilibrium on his cliff. This is terrible for the Night Stalker. He's gonna need help, I think, but he has good rotation possibilities from his allies. Of course, the Enigma and Veno can gank very early on, and OD doesn't have too much escape, so it is a possibility. Or Miggle could just, I mean, why not? Go and put some pressure on Hani and
this is just
open
going to
up the
be
lane.
more harassment than anything, yeah. Just keeping the lanes open. There, he's shown the Void is not going to come out because he has absolutely no mana, which of course is a perfectly normal thing against OD, which is probably the most, well, I don't want to say it's the most because I'm sure there's another one, but one of the top 10 most annoying heroes to play against for sure. And really the only way other
Dire's
than picking
courier.
a hard counter to him.
God.
What?
Even gets the courier.
Oh my god, how did, wow. So of course it's not 3 minutes left, so, or 3 minutes yet, so they couldn't upgrade the courier, but he saw him mid. That's kind of questionable to bring the courier, knowing that he's just going to be roaming.
Exactly. It's a little cocky. I mean, it can happen that you lose that you get surprised by bounty coming in and sniping the courier, which is always a possibility when there's an offlane bounty hunter, but exactly in this case, when Hani saw him just 20 seconds ago, maybe he should have just been like, okay, I'll sacrifice 2 creeps to keep my courier safe and just walk back to the tier 2 tower, get my bottle and come back. So that was kind of a high-risk play from Hani, and Miggle got a lot of reward out of that, not only for himself, of course, but for his entire team. So Fata was having a hard time in middle. That extra gold is going to help a lot. That counts the same as about 3 CS, which means he's effectively almost tied with Hani because of that. That's really good for the Night Stalker at this point.
See Hani. Astral Imprisonment on Fata over and over, poor guy, but here comes Miggle again. He's just gonna come in for harassment. There's not gonna be any mana for Fata to do much though. I'm pretty sure he's bottle crowing at this point, and that's exactly what's happening. Enigma doesn't have Malefice either. Hani actually getting blocked by Miggle, so very nicely done. The Astral Imprisonment yet again. Should be able to get out. Malefice still not up. If they had Malefice, this would be a dead Hani for sure. His Astral Imprisonment not up for another 7 seconds. The Janata
Radiant's
is
top
level
tower
1.
is under attack.
There's a Shiryuken. Is he actually going to catch up? What's his move speed? 365. I am absolutely shocked that he was able to get away. The path of choice for OD
Radiant's top
perhaps was the
tower
only
is
thing he
under
could do. I
attack.
can't even remember, but
These two heroes have the same base move speed, but Miggle has boots. That's the only reason. Else, Hani would have got away
that's
there.
true.
They both
That's
have
true.
315, but the 50
Dire's
advantage for
middle
Miggle there
tower is
was
under
enough.
attack.
So very nicely done by Sigma.
Did he have boots right off the bat, or was it
Structures
from the
are
courier kill?
fortified.
He started with
Radiant's
boots in his
top
lane.
tower is
okay.
under attack.
Now he's got 1100 gold. I mean, he got the courier killed and the first blood. It's gonna be a strong bounty hunter in terms of gold. Pretty low level, but Paris is gonna TP top.
Main
Nice
burrow
gank
strike.
again.
Level 3 Burrow Strike is dirty this early. That is for damn sure. We've seen Sand so much in this tournament, but usually as a support. Seeing Gust used, Era. He's in quite a bit of trouble. His Burrow Strike's going to be able to hit. If used, yes, he's going to dodge the Ice Path completely, and the Void to follow. Era is done for. Miggle and the rest of the team is going to apply some pressure to Fly. Void is up in 2 seconds. He actually has a regeneration rune that he can use right after this. He's going to put him right back in the action. His Fly is going to go into another Burrow Strike. Trixie is here, but too late. Not that he could really do much anyway, other than search his teammate, but it was a little bit too late for him. Sigma dominating this early.
Amazing aggression early on. I love this rotation from Paris because I don't feel like it was obvious it was going to happen. Whenever you TP across the map from the bottom lane to the top like that, Fnatic were just pushing the tower, and
Radiant's
they didn't
middle
only
tower
defend the
is
tower,
under
they can
attack.
actually deny it, by the way, which they might do, but he TP'd in for a kill, and then they could pursue so heavily because the Sand King had arcane boots, they had a Night Stalker during nighttime, and they had a bounty hunter, and this was just really wisely done by them, and if they deny the tower as well, it's just going to be perfect, which unfortunately for Sigma, I think they didn't realize, because else they would have done it, and now it looks like Fnatic will at least be picking that up, so a little bit of a consolation prize for sacrificing 3 heroes there, but even after getting that tower, they're still going to be behind by gold, because of the courier kill, the 4-0 advantage, and of course the first blood.
Well, in essence, Fnatic's lost every single lane for all intents and purposes. I mean, top lane would be the closest to winning, I suppose, but I mean, if Bounty Hunter, who is in a 1v3 situation, and he's just roaming at this point, is the same level as the carry, you gotta count that as a win for Sigma, for sure.
Yeah, it's, the thing about this game is that even when you just look at the last hits, I mean, it's still looking okay for Fnatic. Era has 26, Hani has 25, and Trixie has 19, but these heroes, in terms of how much farm they need and when they come online. If Sigma wins an early game with this kind of lineup, you know, this is looking back on the time when Sigma were really shining, you know, they were just winning so many games, 20 minutes. They have the lineup that suits them and their playstyle perfectly, and they're playing against a lineup that they love to play against, because when you look at Fnatic's heroes, Drow needs time to come online. OD needs time to come online. Darkseer needs time to come online. So what do? They move in the 5-minute mark, they start ganking with 3 or 4 heroes, and Fnatic's heroes just aren't strong enough yet. They can't fight back. And if it just keeps this aggression on and start even getting track kills at some point soon when Miguel gets level 6, I could see this game going really heavily in Sigma's favor.
Burrow Strike's gonna hit. I didn't think they're gonna be in range for that, but they are. The Malice is followed. Senne's Eclipse is popped, but of course only level 1. Honey will fall. Fata gonna get TP'd upon by No Tail and Fly, but Fly's gonna miss his ice path completely, and he better be careful. No Tail as well. Burrow Strike should be able to hit if he wants to initiate here, but Fata's gonna come around in the forest, in the trees I should say, but they're not gonna be able to find anybody, so perhaps choosing the incorrect target. Either way, 1 kill advantage for Sigma in the end. 5-0 right now, overall. And I wanted to mention that top lane, like you were talking about, was deniable, but a little bit of misplay from Sigma not denying it, and Fnatic end up getting the last hit, which is going to help quite a bit.
And now top lane is going to be Miguel against Era, and Miguel can actually win this lane one-on-one. He has 1 point in Janata, 2 points in Shuriken, and 2 points in Shadow Walk, and he has phase boots. So the moment he's invisible, you just see Era. He doesn't dare stand in the lane, because if any +1 hero comes top, he's dead. And that's really scary for a Drow Ranger at this point, because his supports aren't there, and Miguel is now just moving around wherever he wants. So he might be hunting for the Darkseer, who he knows Darkseer is jungling since he's not showing on the bottom lane with Paris and Pass down here. Same time, where is Jakiro? He's also in the jungle. Miguel is trying to steal a little bit of experience here from Trixie. Actually pinging him out. They're going to go really aggressively here, Sigma. But that illusion from Trixie is going to help a lot.
Very lucky illusion, actually. They might have been in a heap of trouble
Dire's
overall.
middle tower is under attack.
Actually, never mind. They do have a lane ward at their own mid-tier 1.
Oh, that's true.
That's a really good ward for them right now, because Fnatic, they need to cover their side of the map.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Fly's dead. Just getting picked off. And I was going to mention something about Drow. Although, what level is she? She's not even level 6 yet, so it's not really relevant yet. Although, she's going to need some farm, obviously, to get back online. But heroes like Bounty Hunter, who are going to be close by for a majority of the time, kind of assassin-like heroes, I guess you could say, are really good counters to Drow, because the ultimate's going to deactivate completely, which makes her complete garbage tier, honestly. As this tier 1 counter mid is going to go down one way or the other. Is it not going to come out? Nope. Ani being very ballsy, the Malphite not able to go off in time, and he will get out just fine. But tier 1 again for Sigma.
No-Tail was thinking about the glimpse there, but Mad's gonna go into the tree line and TP out. If this kind of development in the game continues, of course now we're through the first nighttime, and Fata does not have his ultimate skill. So there's gonna be a bit of a downtime for the strength of Sigma's lineup. When we reach the 12-minute mark, they're gonna have a Blink Dagger on Sand King. Night Stalker is gonna be at least level 8, maybe level 9, and Miguel is gonna have track. I think the second nighttime is going to be insane for Fnatic. They need to live through that and accomplish something. They're just going to lose in that second night. They could lose the entire game. They're still in it, but that's going to be the real challenge for them, is to stick together at that point and not get picked off too heavily.
There's that ulti for Era coming into effect finally. Midas on Darkseer. That is, I feel like that is so risky when you're behind like this. Especially on a hero like Darkseer, who, I'm not going to say he's completely farm dependent, he's probably more level dependent than anything, but still, some farm on him would go a long ways, considering that they pretty much lost every lane. So, I guess only time will tell if that ends up paying off in his favor. Right now, the highest level in the game is Sand King, as Hani's going to get ganked. Janata is going to slow him down. Of course, he uses Astral Imprisonment, which lasts an extremely long time. Hani, he is tracked, Shoryuken. It's not going to be enough damage yet, but here comes Fata with the Void. That should be enough. Negative Urn Charge to follow. You hear a glimpse going off, but it's not going to be enough to save the OD as he goes down. And it's Fly next on here. He's level 3. A nice block from Venomancer, keeping Fly in place. That will be another kill to Sigma's Spirit. It is 8-0, Synderen. 8-0.
Yeah, that was so nicely done again by Sigma. They used the 1 point in Darkness to get 2 kills. Fata on level 7 chose to skill Darkness over Void, which is something you very rarely see because heroes generally you know, when you play Night Stalker, you want to max out the Void for the burst damage it deals, but he just realizes that in that situation, it's a lot better to skill the ultimate because he saw an opportunity to go hunting there. And that 1 point in ultimate just gave him 2 kills, and who cares that he didn't have level 4 Void? He's going to get it now. And they're probably going to get this tier 1 tower as well. This map is falling apart for Fnatic. They're 5,000 gold behind at 10 minutes. They're going to lose the tier 1 top as well. And I don't even think they're going to get a trade down on bottom. No-Tail wants to actually glimpse. He will get it off. Trixie is in position. Paris.
Getting Thunderstruck. He does buy his Blink Dagger though, so honestly not a whole lot lost. I mean, sure, Fnatic finally gets a kill on the board, and I guess that's good for morale's sake, but in the end, the Blink Dagger coming out for Sanking, and that is going to spell a lot of trouble in the future for Fnatic, especially, I mean, this is 11 minutes, Sanking getting a Blink Dagger. How often do you see that in a professional game? Not very often, I would say. Mostly because he's as a support, but of course he is a core in this game, the farmer, with that Caustic Finale, which again, something we mentioned, amazing against melee heroes like the Dark Seer. Seeing a smoke used, fly, goodbye, sir, goodbye, good to see you. Double-headed dragon, Guts comes out just to tickle, I suppose, as Fata just gonna completely ignore this. 9-1 in favor of Sigma right now.
Sigma they have taken over the Fnatic jungle at 11 minutes, which is kind of scary. This is something, if a team is aggressive and is winning the game, you generally see them invading and starting to take over the map control at about 15 minutes. Unless if you're Na'Vi and you run a quad lane, take the tower at 1 minute 40 and then keep an ogre roaming in the enemy jungle for the rest of the game. But in normal games, this is very early. Glimpse from No-Tail.
He's not able to catch Mingle out though. Invis is up in 2 seconds, but it doesn't really matter. They're just gonna initiate quickly. You see Paris. Not the greatest of epicenters, but they're going to get a kill regardless. And in all likelihood, this tier 2 tower as well. Mech picked up on Enigma now. Ay. This is just falling apart for Fnatic. Of course, they have a great mid to late game lineup if they're able to get the levels and farm, which is just not the case yet.
Dire's top tower.
Burrow Strike, Hani's in a lot of trouble as well. The Ice Path will save him at least for now, but the Astral Imprisonment on himself will actually just delay the inevitable as he goes down yet again. 11-1 in favor of Sigma. Oh god. Adding insult to injury as Darkness comes up now as well, so you can add even more darkness to their team.
Wow. You know, it's blah blah. What can you say?
It was
it's
a stomp.
just over. I think this is the most one-sided game we've had in our tournament, and it was Fnatic losing, who were currently in a position where they could get the top spot in the tournament. Now they have to... Now they're really under pressure, right? Now they have to win all their remaining games to get first place. And of course, they're going to be alright with not getting first place, I guess, but it's still really a treat if you get first place. You can choose your opponent